No.
The song?
Cupcake
Yeah.
Wine?
I've heard it. Dina Carter, is that who sings that? Strawberry wine. Yeah, that came out like when I was in high school. That's just
But you love me.
classic, I think.
Let's get trashed.
I don't.
This is recording.
Oh.
This is recording.
Alright, so turn to page 4. This
It's
is
recording?
the study guide. Yeah, I just turned it on. Maybe I should move over here.
Oh, God.
Now I'm in it too.
Put it over there. I don't want to be in here.
I mean, sure, you can move on.
Just, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to read a modest proposal, which is the only actual reading that you're doing in this unit. The rest is, reading things, but the rest is the video. It's of the book, but I don't have copies of it, so the video is fun. You'll enjoy it. Except for you, Alex, because you hate everything.
I hate everything.
Okay, so just like we have problems in our current country, every country has always had problems in their current country at the time. So this was Jonathan Swift's smart-ass solution to a problem. And tomorrow you're going to write your own smart-ass solution to a problem that we have currently.
This long?
Nope. Just, I don't know, probably like 400, just a page. But we'll talk about that when we're all done. So for now, we're going to read this, and just so you know, a modest proposal is a lightity. It's a deliberate understatement. It's more than just a modest, like a medium-sized idea, suggestion. It's gigantic.
Where you hold on tissues?
My tissues are gone. Oh, no, they just got knocked off. They're right here. You need some of those? There you go.
Leave them, thank you.
Okay. So we're going to do some popcorning and stuff like that, but also I'm going to read a lot of it too. And I don't know where my copy is, so got that. But are you ready? Okay. So here we go. The title is long and ridiculous. A modest proposal for preventing the children of poor people in Ireland from being a burden on their parents or country and for making them beneficial to the public, weird spelled, by Jonathan Swift. So,
Public?
yeah. So, this is a modest proposal to do what about kids?
Prevent.
Yep.
Prevent them
Yep.
from being a burden
Yeah.
to the parents and the country.
Yeah, on their parents and the country. So
And make it
obviously,
beneficial to the public.
yes, public
Okay.
weird spell. People in Ireland were like, we have so many kids who are problems, especially the poors. So we should do something about it, and nobody was doing anything about it. So Jonathan Swift was like, all right, I got an idea. This is his idea. What's that? It's a melancholy object to the, melancholy means what?
Sad.
Yeah, sad. It's a melancholy object to those who walk through this great town or travel in the country when they see the streets, the roads, and the cabin doors crowded with beggars of the female sex, followed by 3 or 4 children, all in rags, and importuning every passenger for an alms. Importune, do you remember that vocab word? It means to do what? Beg, yeah. So it makes people sad when they see, like, poor women and their beggar children doing what in the street?
Can I have some money,
Yeah,
sir?
and this makes people sad. We don't want to see that. These mothers, instead of being able to work for their honest livelihood, bootstraps, pull yourself up, they're forced to employ all their time in strolling to beg sustenance. Remember what sustenance means? Food, that's right.
Nutrition.
Nutrition. For their helpless infants, who, as they grow up, either turn thieves themselves for want of work, or they leave their dear native country to fight for the pretender in Spain, or sell themselves to the Barbados. Okay, so number 1, why are people sad when they walk around?
They have to
There's,
see
people
people
begging.
begging.
They have to see beggars, and that makes them sad. So let's figure out what we should do to fix this problem of beggars. I think it's agreed by all parties that this prodigious, remember what prodigious means? Prodigious number of children. Large. This large number of children in the arms or on the backs or at the heels of their mothers and frequently of their fathers is in the present deplorable state of the kingdom a very great additional grievance. It makes us very sad and pained. And therefore, whoever could find out a fair, cheap, and easy method of making these children sound and useful members of the Commonwealth, they would deserve so well of the public as to have his statue set up for a preserver of the nation. So number 2, whoever finds a fix, should get their own statue because it's such a big problem. Caleb, are you alright?
Is this what the heck we're on?
Yes. Do you need a writing utensil?
No.
Okay.
I have a pen in my pocket.
I have a question. Isn't Barbados where Chichibia is
It
from?
was,
Okay.
yes, yeah. So they can sell themselves to go work in the Barbados, in the colonies, perhaps. Alright, but my intention is very far from being confined to provide only for the children of professed beggars. I don't care about just the kids. It is of a much greater extent. It shall take in the whole number of infants at a certain age who are born of parents in effect as little as to able to support them. What? That didn't make sense. Who are born of parents in effect as little able to support them, as those who demand our charity in the streets. Is that a question? Oh yeah, his intention is to do what? Not only to
Basically stop the population of the beggars.
yeah, not just to help the babies, but to help the whole country with the problem of beggars. Because it's not just kids, because they turn into adults, and this cycle of beggars that we just don't like to look at continues.
The whole country
Yep.
rid of beggars.
My intention is to fix it all. As to my own part, having turned my thoughts for many years upon this important subject and maturely weighed the several schemes of our projectors, I've always found them grossly mistaken in their computation. So people who have tried to do this in the past, they've all been wrong with their numbers, crunching the numbers. It is true, a child just dropped from its dam, the dam, so plop, may be supported by her milk for a solar year. That is, that's not true. It's really like 6 months now, but okay. With little other nourishment, at most not above the value of 2 shillings, which the mother may certainly get, or the value in scraps by her lawful occupation of begging. And it's exactly at 1 year that I propose to provide for them, these kids, in such a manner as, instead of being a charge upon their parents or the parish, like the church, or wanting food and raiment, what's a raiment? Clothing, good job. For the rest of their lives, they shall, on the contrary, they shall contribute to the feeding and partially to the clothing of many thousands. Okay, that's a question there. Let's see. Number 4, what 2 things, oh yeah, will his plan contribute to? Food, feeding and clothing of the whole country. He still hasn't told us what his plan is. I should probably make a question there, but when, so babies get to stay with their moms for how long? A
Solar year.
I feel like that is a question somewhere, but I don't know.
What was number 2?
2.
They
They should have their own statue built, because they'll be great. Anyone else want to do any reading? Yay, it's fun. I like reading. That's fine. Okay, so you just follow along. There is likewise another great advantage in my scheme, which we don't even know yet, but we will soon, that it will prevent those voluntary abortions. Everyone hates those. And that horrid practice of women murdering their bastard children, sad. Alas, too frequent among us, sacrificing the poor innocent babes, I doubt, more to avoid the expense than the shame, which would move tears and pity in the most savage and inhuman breast. So, Alex, number 5, what's another advantage to his plan, which we don't know yet, but it will stop what? One thing that nobody wants. Abortion, yeah. His plan's also going to decrease the abortion rate. Yay, good. Write that down. Alright. Yep, even the most savage and inhuman breast feels sad at the idea of murdering unborn kids. The number of souls in this kingdom being usually reckoned 1.5 million, of these I calculate there may be about 200,000 couple whose wives are breeders, from which number I subtract 30,000 couple who are able to maintain their own children, although I apprehend there cannot be so many under the great present distress of the kingdom, there has to be fewer. But this being granted, there will remain 170,000 breeders. I again subtract 50,000 for those women who miscarry or whose children die by accident or disease within the year. Sad. Now there only remain, 120,000 children of poor parents annually born. His math is very general, but okay. The question, therefore, is then how this number shall be reared and provided for, which I have already said, under the present situation of affairs, is utterly impossible by all the methods hitherto proposed. So far, number 6, how many people can probably handle being good parents?
Like 30,000.
30,000 is his generous guess. Out of the 200,000, only like 30 of them are good at being parents. And 7 is also in that question. What's his number in question? Like, how many kids is this going to help?
125,000.
He's basically saying right now we have like 125,000 young kids every year that come into our country that are making it horrible and they're begging in the streets and we need to get rid of them. That's kind of a lot. Okay. I lost my place. Is it I'm assured?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assured by our merchants that a boy or a girl before 12 years old is no saleable commodity. And even when they come to this age, when they get to be 12, they will not yield above 3 pounds, meaning money, or 3 pounds and a half crown at most, or on the exchange. So we're talking about human trafficking here, which cannot turn to account either to the parents of the kingdom, the charge of nutriments and rags having been at least 4 times that value. So number 8, at what age do children start to become useful? 12. And honestly, if you can like sell a 12-year-old for 3 or 4 pounds, and a pound is like a little more than like double $1 now. I don't know what it was back in the
Pound of what?
1600s.
Crack.
No, like dollars.
Currency.
Dollars.
English
Currency. So if you get $3 for a 12-year-old, that doesn't even mean $3 because it will cost like 4 times that to like feed and clothe them. You know, when you raise like animals, you have to think like how much you pay to feed them, blah blah blah. Like what's your net gain? So our net gain not good on the kids, even if we wanted to sell them to somewhere to make them into our slaves. I am assured. Nope. Did I just?
I shall now,
Okay.
therefore.
I shall now, therefore, humbly propose my own thoughts, which I hope will not be liable to the least objection. So, here we go. I've been assured by a very knowing American, of course it's an American, of my acquaintance in London, that a young, healthy child, well nursed, is, at a year old, a most delicious, nourishing, and wholesome food. Whether stewed, roasted, baked, or boiled. And I make no doubt that it will equally serve in a fricassee or a ragout.
So they want to eat the children?
Yes!
Oh my God!
How do you think this went over in real life? This is
No!
a real
Crazy!
document. Yes, it did. It was. Yeah. Right? But that's
Oh my
what-
God!
And it's slightly funny, like the darkest humor ever. Like it's too inappropriate and gross, but it's kind of like what?
It's kind of 1 year during, I think it was our sophomore
That's
year.
horrible.
Uh-huh.
On Miss Hilger's board, someone wrote "babies are,"
Mhm.
and then
I went to put
Hilger
Teacup
wrote
Humans and she put delicious.
"have a picture."
I
of
was
it.
writing that because I put
Nom,
all
nom,
babies
baby.
are, and I went to say Teacup Humans,
Uh-huh.
and instead she like
Put
put
delicious.
delicious. I'm like, I was gonna say Teacup Humans, but okay.
Yeah, okay, so that's whatever your next question is. 9. His solution then is to do what?
Eat
the
the
children.
kids.
Eat the kids.
Eat the
The
babies.
babies. The babies. The good juicy ones. Okay.
Big, fat,
That's
plump
horrible.
ones.
Wait, we're gonna let the other ones just die?
Well, you will see.
Oh no.
I do. Let's see. Next, we're looking for how many should we say? What should we? Okay. I do therefore humbly offer it to the public with that weird spelling consideration that of the 120,000 children already computed, 20,000 can be reserved for breed, whereof only a 4th part to be males, which is more than we allow to sheep, cattle, or swine. And my reason is that these children are seldom the fruits of marriage, a circumstance not much regarded by our savages. Therefore, 1 male will be sufficient to serve 4 females. Okay. That the remaining 100,000 may, at a year old, be offered in sale. Are you excited? You're like, you like that ratio?
Yeah, I like that ratio.
Okay, because then you're going to be eaten and you're a child. But okay, sure.
Wait, what? What?
The ratio is not for like teenagers, it's for like children. Oh, you mean like saving them for when they grow into mature?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you'll probably get eaten,
Well,
so don't get excited. Alright, so the remaining the remaining 100,000 may, at a year old, be offered in sale to the persons of quality and fortune, like the lucky rich people, through the kingdom, always advising the mother to let them suck plentifully in the last month so as to render them plump and fat for a good table. A child will make 2 dishes and an entertainment for friends, and when the family dines alone, the fore or hind quarter will make a reasonable dish, and seasoned with a little pepper or salt, it will be very good boiled on the 4th day, especially in winter.
Okay, let's just
Yeah,
let's
we'll
just
talk about
process this.
Let's process it. Thank you. Yeah.
He has eaten children before
No,
because
it's all lies. I know. How does he
It's
know
satire.
these details, right?
Yeah,
He's not being serious.
Yeah. It's hyperbolic. It's hyperbole. It's way so specific. I mean, exactly.
Why is he so
Ah.
specific about it?
I know. So
I get
imagine
it's,
like the
making fun of it, but still.
yeah. Imagine like the stodgy old like white dudes in their wigs when they're like listening to him, and he finally has the floor to
Picking
be like,
up
all right,
baby
guys. yeah. And it reminds me of like turkey dinner. When you make a
Oh.
Thanksgiving dinner and
Yeah.
you've got that 12-pound turkey. First you eat the white meat in the dark, and you carve it up and you eat the nice like the great meat thin. Then if you're I don't know, you're not a wasteful person, then you'll save all the rest. You'll boil it down to make soup. On the third and fourth day, you'll make those turkey sandwiches.
Yeah.
On the like fifth day, maybe you'll be like, okay, I guess I'll make a turkey pot pie. Like you keep using it. That's what he's talking about. Like until rendering down like those baby bones to make soup. I don't even know if
So
it's still
specific.
It still
So
is.
It's still going.
Okay. Insane and hilarious and awful. Okay, so 10. How many should be saved to breed?
20,000.
That's right, 20,000. Seems like a lot, but okay. The male to female ratio,
1 to
1
4.
to 4.
1 to 4.
But if you look at the number of
Yeah.
how many probable handle being good parents, there's 30,000.
Yeah,
I want to save 20,000
yeah.
of the bad ones.
I feel like he's expecting a lot of them to just die because luck. Okay, according to Swift 12, when entertaining friends, how many dishes are possible out of one baby? 2. 2 for your friends. Oh yeah, okay. That's as far as we are right now. Thoughts? Any other thoughts before we go on? Alex, what are your thoughts on this?
Come on, hold this.
That's not on that. I know. How do you feel about people eating children?
Alright.
Okay, I thought you would think that. All right. I have reckoned. Is that where we're at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I've reckoned upon a medium that a child just born will weigh 12 pounds. Oh, no, thank you. And in a solar year, if tolerably nursed, it will increaseth to 28 pounds.
12 pounds at birth.
Yeah. So obviously he doesn't know it.
That's a big baby.
That's a very big baby. Silas was 8 pounds and Scarlett was 7.1.
I was 5.
My
Yeah.
I was
cousin
only
had
like
twins,
7,
and
yeah.
they were
I was
a
You
pound
were
apiece.
10?
Caleb was almost there.
My cousin had twins,
Yeah.
and they were like
What, you were 10?
they were a pound
Yeah.
apiece.
A pound. Wow, that's.
I don't know if they were a pound.
Mm-hmm.
They were still in the hospital, and she had them.
Are you talking about Kyla?
No,
Oh, okay.
Kansas.
I don't know.
Man, those would be hot pocket babies.
Yeah.
No.
Are they, did they make it in the NICU? Are they fine?
They're still there, but they're
Oh,
fine.
recently.
They've been in there for like 3 months, 2 months.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
But
Yeah.
they're
So with situations like that, even with like
fine.
they're recently having, I feel like it's kind of like super disrespectful to like make a thing like this. So imagine all the people when he put this in real time in history when he was suggesting this, who like had just lost their babies or had just had a baby. Like the idea of just casually discussing this to save the country is super
Yeah.
ugly
Awesome.
in this rating and awesome, yeah, and horrible. Okay, I grant this food will be somewhat dear, like special to us, and therefore very proper for landlords who, as they have already devoured most of the parents, I think that's metaphorically, they seem to have the best title to these children. Oh, that's a question. 13, why do landlords get to, like, claim the kids?
Because they eat the parents.
Yeah, and they don't literally
They,
eat
like,
the parents. How do they
take-
eat the parents?
Like, take all their money.
Yeah,
and
they figuratively take
charge
all this
them,
stuff.
yeah.
They overcharge them and ha ha ha. So, okay, I know it's good for you guys. Okay. Infant's flesh, yum, will be in season throughout the year, but more plentiful in March and a little before and after, for we are told by a grave author and eminent French physician that fish, being a prolific diet, weird spelling, there are more children born in Roman Catholic countries about 9 months after Lent. The markets will be more glutted than usual because of the number of popish infants. It is at least 3 to 1 in this kingdom, and therefore it will have one other collateral advantage by lessening the number of papists among us. What? Okay.
What?
Okay. So, why are there more infants in March?
They're generally born after Lent.
They're born after Lent. Yep. I don't know why, but maybe that's. I mean, I've always heard that there are more babies born in September because people are like bored and shut in January, so they do it.
I was born in September.
Well,
Could be like
there you
New
go.
Year's
I was not.
Yeah.
What's that?
I was
New Year's
born in
Eve.
March.
New Year's Eve, yeah. Everyone's like party, and then in September they're like,
They're like
whoa.
party
Yeah,
and get drunk
September.
and bang.
And
I was born in
yeah.
February, so.
15 though, you can see here. You see some of like the Civil War, civil rights, the not racism, but like ethnoism, religious-ism that's coming out. Why is the benefit? What's the benefit of you using?
Because there'll be less.
Yeah,
Less.
we'll have
Yeah.
fewer papists, meaning Catholics, which at the time he
Yes.
knew would be good because that's how we felt about Irish Catholics. So sorry, Catholics. Okay, I have already computed the charge of nursing a beggar's child, in which list I reckon all cottagers, laborers, and 4/5 of the farmers. Okay, so that's the people in this list. To be about 2 shillings per annum, 2 shillings a year, rags included, and I believe no gentleman would repine to give 10 shillings for the carcass of a good fat child, which, as I have said, will make 4 dishes of an excellent nutritive meat, when he hath only some particular friend or his own family to dine with him. Oh yeah, if you're not having people over, your baby will last you longer. That's how food
So
works.
wrong.
I know, so wrong. Thus the squire will learn to be a good landlord and grow popular among his tenants because he's feeding them and they will like that. The mother will have 8 shillings neat profit and be fit for work until she produces another child. Yay. Those who are more thrifty, more, they don't spend their money as much, as I must confess the times require, because we're all poor. They may flea the carcass, the skin of which, artificially dressed, will make admirable gloves for ladies and summer boots for fine gentlemen. Did that get you there? Is that when we crossed the line, Caleb?
I
know.
just pictured like
I
baby
know.
belly skin on
I know.
hand skin,
I
and
know.
I.
It's horrible. I know.
I mean, they
Yeah.
always say go baby soft.
I know. Okay. 15. What's the... Nope, 16. Oh, 16. Why will preparing babies, like helping mothers grow and like keep making more, why will this be good for young squires? What will they learn?
I don't know.
Run.
I don't get it.
He said run as
To
a.
like stay alive?
Yeah.
No, the landlords, they're the ones who are going to grow up to be squires. How will it teach landlords to be like nice people? What happens if
They're
they
feeding people.
Yeah, who gets to keep the babies?
The landlord.
Landlords. The mother doesn't. Once it's a year old, she's like, bye. So, and she gives it to the landlord. So the landlord takes good care of his, I don't know, ladies that work for him. Then he'll just keep getting babies because every year she'll make another one. Phew. Okay, so that's 16.
So taking good care.
They'll take care of their tenants. And 16B, what else can we do with the children?
Use them for
Clothing.
Yeah. And I always think of, in the Holocaust Museum.
Oh yeah, I was
They
gonna say
did
like the
their
lampshades
Yeah,
and
when
stuff
they
like
did
that.
their-
The leather.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah. So you really have to like distance yourself.
Eat them.
Use
No,
them
we're
for
not already
clothing.
eating them. We can also wear them. Continuing on.
Like
with
the
the
Indians.
food
I'm really
Clothes.
grossed out because I have a niece who's a year old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a niece who's 2 years old, and I'm just like.
babies.
That's
I'm just
now all I'm
picturing dissecting my
imagining is
little
like my
baby half
niece,
and getting her hands
either
on
I
mine.
think I read it every year.
or like
enough away.
someone wearing her, and I just,
Mm-hmm.
no,
I know.
so wrong.
As to our city of Dublin, shambles like crappy houses may be appointed for this purpose in the most convenient parts of it. Butchers, we may be assured, will not be wanting. They'll have lots of business, although I rather recommend buying the children alive and dressing them hot from the knife as we do roasting pigs. Imagine how pissed off he is to have the balls to say this to the courts and to people of stature.
My question is, did he have children and get them taken away or something?
he tells you
To be
later.
filled with
He-
this rage?
No,
Kids?
no, he's
It's
not
about
mad at
kids.
kids.
He's mad at the people not
He's-
doing
He's
anything
mad
about
at,
it.
yeah, he's mad at the people who don't care about the kids. So he's telling them, you are just as bad. You might as well be eating the children of our country because you're not respecting
You're not helping them.
Yeah. So what you're doing by ignoring
So
them.
this is basically a whole metaphor, though.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
doesn't really mean to eat the
No,
children.
no, it's
It's
satire.
satire.
He's mad. He's trying to make a point. All the that you're feeling at that. He meant that on purpose.
Okay.
to be like,
You're supposed
oh,
to
does this
because-
bother you? Because I can't tell, because you're not doing anything about it. It's kind of like a lot of things.
Is your computer going yet?
I don't know.
It's still going.
Yeah.
Is it Kathy Griffin? Do you remember what she did with Trump?
No.
Do you? No? Anyone? Okay, so she made a picture, I think, of like a beheaded Trump. Or she made a video or a picture and she was holding like a fake head. And so people were pissed off, obviously, because like symbolically is like, oh, I'm gonna murder the president, which is what she didn't say that's what she meant, but she's also really insane, so you never know. But I don't think it was. But if she was so pissed off, which she was at the current presidency, to try and like make a point, she did something really gross, and it went over really horribly, and I don't think she's had a job since.
Probably not. I mean,
Yeah. So I mean, if you're super super mad, you're gonna try and get people's attention in whatever way
You did it
can.
in the grossest way possible.
Yeah. Okay. So back into it. Let's see. We're looking for total profit for moms. I think 17. Okay. I think the advantages by the proposal I have made are obvious and many as well as of the highest importance, so these are really important. Here they are. First, as I've already observed, it would greatly lessen the number of papists with whom we are yearly overrun, being the principal breeders of the nation as well as our most dangerous enemies. So Catholics are dangerous and they're doing the most breeding, so this will help take care of the babies. Sorry, Catholics. Yeah, I know. Secondly, the poorer people, the poorer tenants, they'll have something valuable of their own because they can just keep making it a renewable resource, babies are, if you're lucky, which by law may be made liable to a distress and help to pay the landlord's rent and their corn and cattle being already seized and money a thing unknown. So it'll help tenants. Is this the question? Nope, I'm looking for moms. Okay. Oh no. Let's see. Total profit for moms. Did we talk about that earlier? We must have already. I think it's 2 shillings, right? Or no, 8.
8 shillings.
8, yep. Moms get 8 shillings. That's kind of a lot of money. But also it's not. 18, this will be good for our town. Mm-hmm. I know, right? Why will this be good for the town in general based on population according to him and what he thinks people want? What population will go down?
Babies.
Beggars.
The beggars and Catholics.
And now we're reading the 6 reasons why his plan will be good for the country. So there's not a lot of room for 19. Let's see. First, what's it going to do with the Catholics?
Get rid of
Catholics
like, lower
Less
their.
it, lower. Second, what's it going to do for poor people?
Lower.
Yeah. What about their
It's
money?
like to have money.
Yeah, they're going to have some money in their pocket because they're going to be busy breeding. Now, thirdly, whereas the maintenance of 100,000 children from 2 years old and upwards can't be computed at less than 10 shillings apiece per annum per year, the nation's stock will be thereby increased to 50,000 pounds per annum, besides the profit of a new dish introduced to the tables of all gentlemen of fortune in the kingdom who have any refinement in taste, and the money will circulate among ourselves, and the goods being entirely of our own growth and manufacture. So what's it going to do for the economy?
It's gonna boost it.
Yeah. And we're like literally making the boost. So good job us. We're not borrowing any money from China. It's all us.
No, we're just
Fourthly,
making babies to eat. And
horrible,
sell.
horrible, horrible. Fourthly, the constant breeders, besides the gain of 8 shillings sterling per annum by the sale of the children, will be rid of the charge of maintaining them after the first year. That's true. Do you know how much it costs to like raise a child right now until like the age of 18?
A lot.
Yeah.
100,000.
More. When I was your age, it was like 120,000, so I think it's probably like 200,000 now,
Probably quarter mil.
which is crazy.
Quarter mil.
So,
How much is it to have a kid?
10,000.
well, I mean, it's free just to make a baby.
Yeah, but the doctor's
But
appointments
doctor's
and
visit,
stuff.
it depends on if you have a C-section or not, and if you have insurance. Ours without
There's
insurance,
10,000
did you say 20?
10.
Yeah, I think mine was like 20 by the time I got out of there. But insurance made it less.
And you also have to take into account ultrasounds and
Oh yeah,
genders.
Yeah. for us, I mean, it's probably too much information. For fertility stuff that we did,
Yeah. That'd be
18,
a lot more.
20,000. All the doctors and ultrasounds to get there, probably like a couple more thousand, and then like 20,000 for a birth, C-section. Yep.
So very, very
why we're
pricey.
dead. That's why we're poor.
That's why we're poor.
But we had insurance for the last part, but not the first one. Okay, so did we just answer that one? How's it going to help the poor people then? Fourthly, what do they not have to do for 18 years?
Care
Yeah,
for
all of that
children.
money, that's gone. Phew. Fifthly, this food will likewise bring a great custom to taverns. Oh, good. What's a tavern?
The bar.
Bar.
Yeah.
So
Where
bring
the
business
vintners,
to
those
town.
are the people who make wine. The vintners will certainly be so prudent as to procure the best receipts for dressing it to perfection, and consequently, have their houses frequented by all the fine gentlemen, and will contrive to make it as expensive as they please. So, what other market are these?
Bring
awesome-
travelers to town.
It's going to bring travelers to town, and it's going to specifically help what types of business
The
people?
merchant.
The merchants, the vintners. Gotta have great wine to go with your great dinners. Yikes. Sixthly, it would be a great inducement to marriage. Alright. Which all wise nations have either encouraged by rewards or enforced by laws and penalties. So everyone, I mean, we have rules now, or laws now, like marriage is a good thing, and we try and help it. It would increase the care and tenderness of mothers towards their children when they were sure of a settlement. So they'll be nicer to their kids because they know someone's going to buy them. Men would become as fond as their wives during the time of their pregnancy as they are now of their mares in the foal, their cows and calf, or their sow when they're ready to farrow. And they will not offer to beat or kick them, as too frequent of a practice for fear of miscarriage. So good. Dudes are going to be nicer to their ladies because why?
They're gonna bring in some money.
That's
Yeah.
easy money.
Finally, women will have a nice marriage because their
I was gonna say,
husbands.
helps marriage.
Yeah, it helps marriage because the husbands won't beat them because they'll want them to have a safe child. Phew. Again.
You know, until after she gets pregnant. and then,
Right.
You know.
Well, then she'll just get pregnant right again, so it'll be okay. Yeah. Many other advantages might be enumerated. We could list even more. For instance, the addition of some 1,000 carcasses in our exportation of barreled beef. Okay, so we'll put them in barrels like beef. The propagation of swine's flesh and improvement in the art of making good bacon. Baby bacon. So much wanted among us by the great destruction of pigs, too frequent at our tables, which are no way comparable in taste or magnificence to a well-grown, fat, yearly child, which roasted whole will make a considerable figure at a Lord Mayor's feast or any other public entertainment. And by this and many others, I omit being studious of brevity. So I'm going to be quick. How is it going to help the pigs?
Pigs live.
Yeah. We can save the pigs because we'll make better bacon,
I'll stick with turkey bacon.
right?
I'm good.
Okay, but as to myself, having been wearied out of many years with offering vain, idle, and visionary thoughts, at length utterly despairing of success, I fortunately fell upon this proposal, this idea, which, as it is wholly new, so it hath something solid and real, of no expense and little trouble, full in our own power, and whereby we can incur no danger in disobliging England. We won't piss off England, because this kind of commodity will not bear exportation, and flesh being too tender a consistence to admit a long continuance in salt. We won't export because the flesh will be yucky in salt, although perhaps I could name a country which would be glad to eat up our whole nation without it. Okay, so why won't England be mad? What are we not? How are we not? How's it going to affect the business?
We're not gonna have to trade with them because, well, it's not gonna taste right if it's
That's
not.
right. We're
with
gonna
the
keep it
salt.
all. We're gonna keep it all in house and like trade it among ourselves. And let's see. I think he is talking. What? Yeah, I know, but maybe I don't think it is. Maybe
I don't know. Who knows?
English reading. Okay, call you back. Bye.
Mark.
It was actually. Okay, last paragraph. Is that right? We're almost done. Oh no. After all, I am not so violently bent upon my own opinion as to reject any offer proposed by wise men, which shall be found equally innocent, cheap, easy, and effectual. So he's saying, I mean, I'm not such a big jerk that I wouldn't like. If you've got a better idea, bring it up. What a jerk! I profess, in the sincerity of my heart, yeah, right, that I have not the least personal interest in endeavoring to promote this necessary work, having no other motive than the public good of my country. I only bring this up for the good of us all. It will advance our trade, it will provide for our infants, it will relieve the poor, and it will give some pleasure to the rich. I have no children by which I can propose to get a single penny. The youngest of mine is 9 years old, and my wife is past childbearing. So it's not about me getting rich, guys. 22 2. How is his last paragraph's proof? I
His
wrote?
child's too old and his wife can't
Yeah.
kids.
Yep. Not a lot of money for me. So, thoughts on this ridiculous thing?
Disturbing.
It's the most disturbing thing I think you'll ever read in English class of all of your years. So you've experienced that. The rest
Everything
of
we
it.
read in English is disturbing.
I know, but it's on a different level than all the things.
Uh,
that you
I'd rather read The Wizard of Oz than reading about wearing babies for gloves.
I
I
think that's an.
Did we even?
I'd
enjoy
rather
your
read
humor.
Piggy
This took it too
dying
far.
over and
It did
over
take-
again
yeah,
than
too
this
far,
again.
yeah.
Way too far.
Alright, let's talk about your writing assignment really quickly, just because you're here, so we can work on it tomorrow. Turn to page 7. So, you're gonna make your own modest proposal to a problem that we have in our country. It could be also like,
Not driving.
yup. It could be the same thing that he wanted to talk about, like poor kids and poor people, like blah. Or here are some ideas. I guess they're not all domestic. Some of them are international, but whatever. So you're gonna make your own proposal, a modest proposal. So that's a light to T. It's gotta be more than modest. And you're gonna fix it. Let's see. In your writing assignment, I want something of a clever title.
Do you want a title like this one?
No.
Like 1,000.
No. Something with like alliteration or a rhyme or something clever. So give me something clever. Let's see. Your first paragraph, tell me about the problem and like what's going on with it. Your second paragraph, tell me about like the consequences of it. Third, tell me about your solution and why it's gonna work. Then I want a paragraph. It's really important, I think, with persuasion to like acknowledge the other side. I don't know about you, but when I have arguments with Mr. Bloss all the time, like it's always like, okay, I know where you're coming from because blah blah blah. But here's why I'm right. So acknowledge the why some people might not like your problem. Like with this one, why might some people not like this modest proposal?
some people just don't.
Because it's kind of disturbing. That's
People
not,
like children.
Yes, and we don't want to eat our children. Yeah.
some people may not like the baby gloves
And then a conclusion.
or the baby boots. Yeah.
Good. I want you to put 3 of the satirical techniques from your notes, which are I listed them down there on the bottom. You took notes on all of these. They're on the front page of your packet, I think. So you can use your packet to help you write it. Tomorrow we'll write it, and Thursday 10th we'll share it, and that's that. So you don't have to write it outside of class. You can do it in class. It's kind of helpful to do it in class. Questions? Okay.
So it's totally just joking.
Yes, it is